वनक्कम, मैं हैदर अली सैयद आसिफगम से यूनाइटेड अंडर तमिल सेवा।
Earth story starring Lucifer from demon community, Adam origin of human community, Cain the fugitive, cursed one, Seth the blessed, chosen one, Noah the turning point between two generations, Abraham tested and appointed, children of Israel under covenant. Have I missed any point? Please do comment. In my previous video I have discussed on topic Lucifer and how he become the Dark Lord Parsum. And in part 2 we discussed about Adam, how he was created from 3 different elements. Remember we human are 3 in 1, God is one and only. And in part 3 we discussed on Cain the first Antichrist and also discussed on the topic of coming of Antichrist and who are the Gog and Magog. And in part 4 we have discussed about Sivan the Pandian. Sivan in Tamil language means God representative on the earth. Sivan translated into Arabic means Khalifa. And in part 5 we discussed on Noah alias Murugan, the juncture between 2 generations. And in part 6, we discussed on the topic Abraham tested and appointed. In this video we would discuss our next starer from the movie, The Earth Story. That star is children of Israel who are under covenant. Why in Quran chapter 2 verse 124, Allah said to Abraham that the covenant does not include the wrongdoers among Abraham descendants? Did members from bloodline of Abraham strayed from the straight path which God gave to first Siddha? Did member from family of Abraham betrayed their forefather Abraham? History of children of Israel from bloodline of Abraham of Semitic black race started with 10 brothers conspiring to kill one of their brother. Remember the 10th son of Jacob from bloodline of Abraham tried to kill one of their brother called Joseph, Yusuf. Quran chapter 2 verse 40, through Prophet Muhammad, God reminds about the covenant which he made with children of Israel. I quote, O children of Israel, remember my favor which I have bestowed upon you and fulfill my covenant upon you, that I will fulfill your covenant from me, and be afraid of only me. Before discussing on the topic I would like to tell you about Quran. Quran is a reminder, reminding people who have holy scriptures and revelations. Quran calls them by the term people of the book and uses the term as children of Israel. Please note, like previous scriptures and revelation, Quran too does not entertain nomads Caucasian settlers from bloodline of Cain. Quran chapter 36 verse 1 to 11 stops Prophet Muhammad from wasting time on people whose forefathers had no warner. Remember the only people who had no warner messenger are people from bloodline of Cain. Adam is a prophet, and his children were divided into department of works governed by first Siddhar Siva alias Seth the Sivan the Pandian. As for Cain, he was cursed, banished from cradle of civilization, as he committed the first murder. All prophets are from noble birth. Cain the first Antichrist, his descendants are not from noble birth, so among Cain descendants there had no warner or messengers. Since Prophet Muhammad is a universal messenger, he was also a messenger for bloodline of Cain. Remember when Gentiles from bloodline of Cain settled among Pandian colonies came to Jesus Christ to know about the words of gods. Jesus refused to entertain nomads Caucasian settlers, stating that his mission is limited to lost sheep of house of Israel, not for Gentiles. Jesus further says that when Comforter comes, he is going to entertain the nomads from bloodline of Cain settled among Pandian colonies. That Comforter is Prophet Muhammad. In spite Prophet Muhammad being a universal messenger, Allah stops Prophet Muhammad from wasting time on people whose forefathers had no honor. I quote Quran chapter 36 verse 1 to verse 6. Ya, seen by the wise Quran. Indeed you, O Muhammad, are from among the messengers, on a straight path. This is a revelation of the Exalted in might, the Merciful, that you may warn a people whose forefathers were not warned, so they are unaware. Note: the only people whom God will not see his face is Cain. I quote Bible Genesis chapter 4 verse 14. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth. And from thy face shall I, Cain, be hid. And I, Cain, shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass, that every one that findeth me shall slay me. Remember, Quran is a reminder for people who have scriptures and revelations. How can Quran be a reminder for people who have no books or messengers? Therefore Quran does not remind people who have no books or messengers. That's why Prophet Muhammad was stopped from wasting time on people whose forefathers had no honor. Since Prophet Muhammad is a universal messenger and a messenger for bloodline of Cain, he sent letters of invitation to the Caucasian settlers kings, inviting them to God-guided path called Asivagam. But the first two beastly regimes mentioned in Daniel chapter 7, the Persian Empire and Byzantine Empire, rejected the invitation of Prophet Muhammad that invited them to Asivagam. Caucasian settlers, they followed Mithraism policy, which are anti to Asivagam. Further, Quran chapter 36 verse 7 says, already the word has come into effect upon most of them, so they do not believe. Since bloodline of Cain settled among Pandyan colonies, they are aware of Asivagam, but they do not accept it. Note: Cain is the first Antichrist. Coming of Antichrist means bloodline of Cain settled among Pandyan colonies. Around 3000 BC approximately, bloodline of Cain entered Iranian plateau from Caucasus mountain. Tamil scholars educated those nomads, barbaric people from bloodline of Cain settled among Pandyan colonies. They gave Sanskrit a written form. Remember, the Caucasian settlers, they got aware of straight path called Asivagam. Being a fugitive by DNA, they rejected first Siddhar and Asivagam, and created a secret society called Mithraism. Mithraism, whose agenda is end the straight path called Asivagam, which given by God to first Siddhar. Symbol of Mithraism is kill the bull. Bull refers to Pandi the Pandyan. That's why Quran chapter 36 verse 7 says, already the word has come into effect upon most of them, so they do not believe. Among bloodline of Cain, Quran divided them into two groups. One group which came and settled among Pandyan colonies, they are called stiff-necked people. While other group among children of Cain are not arrogant. Since Caucasian settlers settled among Pandyan colonies are stiff-necked. And Bible Daniel chapter 7 talks about four beastly regime that would rise from bloodline of Cain settled among Pandyan colonies, and prolonged the greater Kalyugam until the coming of the Son of Man, the Kalki. Bible calls Caucasian settlers as beasts, and Quran chapter 36 verse 8 to verse 10 says calls them stiff-necked people. I read, indeed, we have put shackles on their necks, and they are to their chins, so they are with heads kept aloft. And we have put before them a barrier and behind them a barrier and covered them. So they, people whose forefathers had no honor, do not see. And it is all the same for them whether you, Muhammad, warn them or do not warn them, they will not believe. Note: Prophet Muhammad never entertained Caucasian settlers from bloodline of Cain settled among Pandyan colonies, now disguised as Muslim world and Brahmanism on the Pandyans colonies. Quran chapter 5 verse 82 clearly says that the biggest enemy of the Pandyan colonies are the Jewish syndicate consisting of Baniya and Brahmins. And closest to believers would be Christian world, Europe. I quote Quran chapter 5 verse 82. Thou wilt find the most vehement of mankind in hostility to those who believe, in straight path, the Jews and the idolaters. And thou wilt find the nearest of them in affection to those who believe, in straight path, those who say, Lo! We are Christians. That is because there are among them priests and monks. And because they are not proud. Note: remember, Jewish syndicate consisting of Muslim Baniya and Hindu Brahman are stiff-necked. They just want to establish Mitraism policy on the Pandyan colonies by ending the straight path called Asivargam and establishing New World Order based on Mitraism. The concept of New World Order is backed by the four beastly regime mentioned in Daniel chapter 7. The four beastly regime mentioned in Daniel chapter 7 are Persian Empire, Byzantine Empire, Ottoman Empire, and last final beastly regime is Devil from Najad Kingdom of Saudi. Persian Empire are now Iran, Byzantine Empire are now Iraq, Ottoman Empire is now Turkey, so, Iran, Iraq, Turkey and Saudi Arabia are now known as Muslim world. They through their agents in India wants to end old world order called Asivargam that was given by God to first Siddha. When Jesus Muhammad Bible Quran never entertained Caucasian settlers. The question comes, how did Torah Gospel Quran reach bloodline of Cain? How did bloodline of Cain following Abrahamic religions organization? Who gave Torah Gospel to bloodline of Cain? One thing is clear, that the history from Adam to Noah 100% belongs to the Pandyan colonies. Bloodline of Cain, in spite of reading Bible verses which talks about from Adam to Noah. They still don't know anything about the Pandyan colonies, and they don't know the God-guided path called Asivagam. Who distorted Bible and why? Who removed Pandyan colonies' history out of the Bible? Who are those culprits? Who are those straight people who removed Tamil history out of the Bible? Remember, they distorted Bible in such a way that history of the Pandyans colonies is erased and history of Cain bloodline is also erased. Who are those straight people? The culprits who distorted Bible, removed the history of the Pandyans out of Bible, are the children of Israel from bloodline of Abraham of Semitic black race. God tells the children of Israel in the Quran chapter 2 verse 42. Not to mix the truth with falsehood. I reads, do not mix the truth with falsehood, nor conceal the truth while you know. Note: mixing the truth with falsehood is something that we have witnessed from the children of Israel. They would do this for their selfish desires and gains. There are numerous verses in the Quran that censure the children of Israel for some of their actions and activities. As an illustration, take the following verse 79 from Quran chapter 2. So woe to them who write the book with their hands and then say, this is from Allah, that they may sell it for a paltry gain. So woe to them for what their hands have written, and woe to them for what they earn. This verse is about some scribes among the children of Israel who would write certain things and then would claim that they are from God, while in reality they were not from God. In other words, they wrote things that appealed to their taste in order to sell them for some money. God in this verse censures a group of people from the children of Israel who used to do that. In verse 122 to 123 of Surah Baqarah, God addresses the children of Israel directly. O children of Israel! Remember my blessing which I bestowed upon you, and that I gave you an advantage over all the nations. Beware of the day when no soul will compensate for another. Neither will any ransom be accepted from it, nor will any intercession benefit it, nor will they be helped. Note: From the above verse, we understand that God blessed them with many blessings and made them superior to other nations. However, they deviated from the straight path and became corrupt. Remember, the straight path is the path given by God to first Siddhar Siva alias Seth the Sivan the Pandyan. Children of Israel, in spite of being under covenant, and they coming from family of Abraham, they betrayed God and betrayed God-guided straight path called Asivargam given to first Siddha. God sent messengers to remind about the covenant and reminding children of Israel of Semitic black race to follow that straight path. However, the children of Israel used to kill their prophets and distorted their books. The reasons why they distorted their book is that they wanted to remove the history of Sivan the Pandyan colonies out of their books and rewrite it in such a way to suit bloodline of Cain. Remember, there were two groups of seafaring people then, one Tamil and other was from the children of Israel of Semitic black race. Whoever controls the sea control the trades. Since among bloodline of Cain settled among Pandyan colonies started a Jewish syndicate consisting of traders and priests. Their agenda was to take over the Kuldevam of Tamil Pandyan colonies through their priestly class and have upper hand on the manufacturing units among the Pandyan colonies. Children of Israel of Semitic black race, they joined Caucasian Persian Jewish syndicate and together they planned to take over trade and industry by ending the Pandyans, kill the bull. To create a new market among the bloodline of Cain living in Russia and Europe, they distorted their book to suit bloodline of Cain. They introduced Judaism religion and Christian religion among the bloodline of Cain. Instead of giving the bloodline of Cain the straight path called Asivagam, the children of Israel from bloodline of Abraham gave distorted religious cult under Abrahamic religious organization. Since Ham, Sham, Japheth are from bloodline of Noah and Noah is from bloodline of Seth alias Siva, Quran reminds children of Israel of Semitic black race to follow the path which Noah followed. I read Quran chapter 42 verse 13. He has ordained for you the way which he decreed for Noah, and what we have revealed to you, O Prophet, and what we decreed for Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. Commanding, uphold the faith, and make no divisions in it. What you call the polytheists to is unbearable for them. Allah chooses for himself whoever he wills, and guides to himself whoever turns to him. Note: the polytheists refers to bloodline of Cain settled among Pandyan colonies who, instead of following the straight path given by God to first Siddha, they introduced policy under Mitraism whose principles are anti to Asivagam. I read one more verse from Quran chapter 1 verse 6 to verse 7. It says, "Guide us to the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed favor, not of those who have evoked your anger or of those who are astray." Note: Blessed one is Seth alias Siva the Sivan the Pandyan, whom God taught by pen, giving him information on all subjects. Siva the first Siddha whom God gave straight path called Asivagam. So favored one is Seth alias Siva the Sivan the Pandyan. Straight path is God-given path called Asivagam. People who awoke God anger was Cain. Cain bloodline facing their ancestral karma. The straight people are from bloodline of Abraham, the children of Israel who distorted their book and killed their messengers. As they had joined the bloodline of Cain settled among Pandyan colonies, assisting them to kill the God-guided path called Asivagam, and introduced new world order based on Mitraism policy which are anti to Asivagam. Lastly, children of Israel are facing the punishment from God like Cain. They too have become scattered nation. Since God had promised Abraham for a land for Abraham descendants, as God does not break promises, So children of Israel would return home. That would happen when Jesus returns to earth in his second coming. But as for children of Israel of Semitic black race, they are lost by mind. Never ever trust the black movement of America, as they are al enemy to the Pandyan colonies and are enemy of Asivagam, Persian Jewish syndicate in India. Their close associate are the Moors known as Marikar, Ravtha. I quote Quran chapter 17 verse 104 reminding about returning home. And we said after Pharaoh to the children of Israel, dwell in the land, and when there comes the promise of the hereafter, we will bring you forth in one gathering. With this we have completed the series on the earth story. If any questions, do ask, share and join me on Clubhouse app room Asivagam First Siddha for live discussion.
Vanakkam. Thank you.